Hey folks, it's Spitz with Pixels and Pills at Digital Pharma East in Philadelphia 2012. It's my pleasure to have Eugene Lee, Senior Vice President with CMI Compass. Everyone's always talking about getting the right media mix together, obviously identifying the right targets. All of our clients have finite budgets, and it's a fragmented, complicated playing field out there. Online, offline, websites, banners, social, mobile. How do you make sense of all that, and how do you provide prescriptive guidance to folks who really want to get the best benefit?
Yeah, so the access is definitely the biggest component of that whole thing. The landscape that you outlined for us is exactly it. It's gotten so large over time, and this is a digital conference right now, but you have to think about the offline channel, the in-office channel. Physicians go to conferences and conventions. We're talking about mobile today, so the mobile device, about apps, SMS, email, everything's involved in that. So we typically start with understanding where the physicians are accessing their media first. So we're going to take a physician target list, understand that those physicians have preferences in terms of how they consume content. So whether it be a journal, some audiences like mobile, some audiences like digital, some audiences like to use search. So we understand what that is first. Through there, we'll then determine the access is the first step, and then we'll determine how are we going to create the mix that works for those people on our physician's target list. So the mix is never the same for every single audience. So you have to be specific to individual segments or specific groups of a target audience. And it's not easy. You know, like I said, the landscape is gigantic, and education for our people is also really, really critical. So knowing what's out there, what's coming out there, or what we can bring from outside industries is also what we're about.
Definitely, and segmentation and micro-segmentation is really what it's all about, knowing the audience. I mean, even within particular disease states, endocrinology, oncology, cardiology, not only do you have different physician engagement, but you have different types of physicians, right? You have younger physicians, older physicians with different predilection for using media in different ways. How do you tie it all together? Do you put together kind of an experience map with all the touch points? How do you communicate to clients the nature of that media mix and ultimately justify where you're allocating the spend in each area?
You're exactly right. It's a journey, and we're going to try to map our audience through that journey. So we're going to always know that if I've started to engage somebody, my goal there is to build their awareness of the message, so they're understanding what is my brand message, what they're about, associating that message to that product. Once they've gotten past that point, they're probably going to start engaging with us. So whether they go to a website, whether or not they respond to an email, whether or not we have a rep that goes in and gets a positive feedback from them, we're going to understand where they are through that process. And then when we get them there, then we're going to always be tracking their performance too. So because we work in pharma, prescriptions are things that you know, an activity you know is happening. You actually know also individuals that are writing or not writing your product. So you can actually track performance of them, and depending upon where they are through that journey, you'll know whether or not performance is working or not working for you.
Clearly that ROI is central, and then the metrics and analytics are getting increasingly more sophisticated. You brought up a fascinating point, though, too, which is looking outside the healthcare vertical for innovation and fresh ideas. You know, we get kind of siloed within digital health, right? We're cumbered by a lot of regulatory and the like, and even looking outside into consumer packaged goods, into media and entertainment, there's some inspiration, if not direct application. Could you share some of the insights you might have acquired within, you know, the broader space in terms of your healthcare clients?
Yeah, sure. So for those who were actually at the Digital Health Coalition session yesterday, Mark talked a little bit about how, just as an industry in general, we feel like we're behind the times. So if you're able to go outside and look outside of that, you can become a facilitator of moving this industry forward. So that's what we're striving to do. I go to a ton of shows, ones like this that are specific to pharma, but I also go to conferences that are just digital in general for the general population or general industry. We go to the Consumer Electronics Show, so look at technology that's out there. We go to festivals like South by Southwest. So just you can get a really large perspective of what's really out there, and then you try to bring it back and find application for here. And it's not always an easy thing. You know, we really kind of avoided the MLR topic a lot in this session, but that's a topic that we have to tackle, and it's not an easy thing, especially with innovation. I know we talked a little bit about innovation also yesterday, where you can set processes in place, but the very nature of innovation is you're going to be doing new things all the time. So those processes might not apply that you've developed, worked hard on, got working. They might not apply to a new innovation later on down the road. So we're trying to keep the fresh ideas going as best as we can, and knowing that it's going to be a challenging thing for us.
Sounds like a delicate balance between risk-taking and then being responsible for clients. And you mentioned going to conferences and getting stimulation from all these different areas. This is day 3 of Digital Pharma East, and it's dedicated to mobile. And just really quickly, mobile has just redefined the playing field. The iPad especially within mobile health has transformed everything. Can you share a few thoughts in terms of that media mix and how it translates into tablets and the revolution that's there right now?
Yeah, sure. So the topic of mobile first came up already today, and I think I even tweeted out the question of, I think it's a great philosophy. I fully support it because mobile is going to be a redefining channel for us. But I question whether or not we're actually going down that route, if we're actually really embracing that mobile first environment. So it is a change for us, and I think people are struggling with how to connect mobile to the other channels, but I think it's irrefutable that it is connected to all the other channels. I think one of the stat was whether or not you are watching TV with your mobile device. And I think it was 52% was watch TV with their mobile device. So it's the same thing. You're going to have your mobile device when you're reading a journal, mobile device when you're talking to somebody, mobile device when you're working with a patient, mobile device.
The second and third screen, right?
Right. Everywhere, yeah.
Thanks so much. It's Eugene Lee, folks, Senior Vice President with CMI Compass, talking about putting together the optimal media mix, exploring new channels and technologies, and getting exposure from all sorts of verticals to stimulate that conversation. Spitz from Pixels and Pills, Digital Pharma East, Philly 2012, signing out. Thanks so much.